Hi, I'm Justin Mirche. Have you ever asked yourself what information is on a credit report? In this episode, we're going to look what's actually on a person's credit report, what things on a credit report that may or may not be dragging down your score, and then I have a few simple fixes to help clean up your credit report a bit. Okay, knowing what's on your credit report is wildly important. It's one of the most important things in your life. Literally everything, all of your financial purchases, employment, insurance, all of that is based on your personal credit. It gives your creditors a snapshot of how you manage your credit. It also gives them some insight as to what it looks like to work with you. Okay, so what personal information is on your credit report? To begin with, we've got your name, right, obviously, and all the different variations of your name. It's going to have your date of birth and all the different variations of your date of birth. Same with social security numbers. It's also going to have all of your addresses that you've ever lived at. In terms of accounts, it's going to have your auto loans, your student loans, your mortgages, your credit cards, and a variety of other types of accounts that you've taken on over the years. And more recently on your credit profile, you may see some self-reported items. Self-reported items are becoming kind of more of a craze. If you've signed up for Experian Boost, FICO does it also. There's an Ultra FICO. And there's some other companies that will actually place things on your credit that aren't traditional, like your electricity payments, like your cell phone bills, like your checking account activity, like your rental history, which is not placed traditionally on your credit profile, but you can secure other companies that will actually put it there. Okay, so now within each one of these accounts, there's going to be many different areas that are reported. When the account was open, when it was closed, your payment history. It's going to show your payment history for the entirety of the account, but it's actually in most cases going to give you the last 24 months of history. When you've paid late, when you've paid on time, your balances, your limits. In many cases, there's going to be negative accounts that show up on your credit profile. Those are going to be your charge-offs. Those are going to be your collections. Those are going to be your bankruptcy in terms of public information. Okay, before we get into the next segment, and this is concerning inquiries, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be working hard to bring you a video each weekday over personal finance topics, which will include credit and lending. Okay, so inquiries. I get any other question, and the biggest thing that people ask me is, how do I get rid of these hard inquiries? There's two different types of inquiries. There's a soft inquiry and a hard inquiry. Hard inquiries are reserved when you're trying to actually apply for credit. Soft inquiries are when somebody pulls your credit for informational purposes or you pull your own credit. So one of the most common questions I get as pertains to inquiries is, how do I get these inquiries off my credit? And the reason clients are so concerned about this is mostly because they go to apply for something. Let's say that a client goes to an auto dealership, and let's say it's Ford, and they sign up and they have an application. That Ford dealership may pull their credit 10 or 15 or 20 different times trying to find them the best offer. In that application, the client actually gave them permission to do that, and now they're concerned because they think that those 10 or 12 inquiries that are now on their credit profile are absolutely decimating their score. And the reality is that the scoring algorithm allows for what's called the deduplication process. And that means that it allows you to shop rates within the mortgage industry, within the auto loan industry, and also within the student loan industry. And you have approximately 45 days to shop rates and pull your credit as many times as you'd like. And although those inquiries will show up on your credit multiple times, they really only impact you the one time. So the only real way you can get an inquiry off of your credit is to maintain that there was fraud committed, that financial institution pulled your credit, and they did it in a fraudulent way without your permission. Now, that's a big, bold statement, right? So in many cases, I've seen where clients have actually disputed these items under those pretenses, and what ends up happening is that they get blacklisted from the company. And by blacklisted, I mean that, as an example, if you had a Capital One account, I like to always pick on Capital One, and I've seen this happen with clients where they disputed the inquiry with Capital One. Capital One blacklisted them from their company and also called their car note because they actually had a car note with Capital One. And if you think about it, it makes sense. If you're saying, look, you committed fraud, you pulled credit on me without my permission, and you have a Capital One credit card or a Capital One auto loan, that creditor probably is going to call that. Meaning they're either going to close your credit card or they're going to call your auto loan. And it makes really good sense. So how does an inquiry affect my credit? An inquiry really only hits your credit in terms of points, maybe 3 to 5 points. The reality is that an inquiry, a hard inquiry, only stays on your credit for 2 years. It only has an impact for 1 year, and after 6 months, you get most of those points back. So there's not a whole lot of points wrapped up in these, and there's a whole lot of potential issues that could come out of trying to dispute these things off of your credit. It's really, there's not enough bang for your buck to really be concerned about this. If your credit is very low, it's not because of some inquiries. So remember, in general, positive credit history is going to stay on your credit for 10 years, and negative things that are on your credit are going to stay on your credit for 7 years.